It's fine, it'll sit there. I'll pick it up. Started a little early later on. Which one is that? Yep.
It only takes a flat blade screwdriver to change it.
Hey everybody, it's Bob from TNT Customs. It's TNT Tuesday, 21st of April, 2020. Today, what are we gonna do? Oh, guardian armor. You see Jay and Bobby and Frizz and David are here. We'll just kind of wander around a minute, see if anybody else catches up with us. Tom, how you doing? So I don't know if you were here from the very get-go. I just kind of turned the phone on while I was getting ready. You were looking at the Safari LJ, which is full of our Guardian armor. So let me flip this around. There we go. So this one, I know you guys have seen this already, so we'll do it quickly. That is our, back up a little more. Oh, there we go. That is what we're calling our TJ6. So kind of a throwback to the old CJ6, where Jeep just took the standard issue CJ5 and added, added a bunch of length there, but didn't add anything there. So we kind of did the same thing. This particular armor set has a TJ departure angle, so all of the 5 inches of the LJ is added there to get you that longer wheelbase. So what we've got going over here is a standard LJ corner. Same as the Safari LJ, it's our Highline corner. You can see, hopefully you can see it, the row of bolt holes there across the top. That is our standard bolt pattern. All of our corners have that pattern, but you can see where the tube is right up and the flare is right up there below the bolt hole. And what that does for you, we'll come back to that because I got to show you on the Safari. But you can see, if I can get down here, how much, back up a little, there, how much sheet metal actually gets cut out of the body when we do our Highline flare. For you guys that want to run, this particular flare setup is set up for a 37-inch tire, and one of those buzzwords in the industry, LCG, low center of gravity build. So if you want to keep your Jeep pancaked and run big rubber, that is the corner for you. That piece on the floor is what came out of the passenger side. We already have the passenger side cut, but I had Craig do some other stuff this morning, and not get ahead of me and cut that out yet, so you could actually see it, how much sheet metal is removed. Probably the biggest advantage is getting rid of that hump. If you get back, you can see it, how it protrudes back into the wheel well. We just take that off straight, give you a little more room for that bigger tire at a smaller lift height. We can do that flare to a 40-inch opening as well. On an LJ, we can kind of go as big as you want, but you know, a part numbered part will be this 37 and one with a probably a 41-inch diameter opening, so will fit any 40 on the market, and with a little creative trimming you could get 42s in it, or you could custom order them that way. We do switch you over to a YJ style fuel bezel, so the gas center line of the gas filler does not move, but we get rid of that big round TJ filler to make room for the flare. That may or may not be important to you, but this Jeep is a Southern Cal Jeep, so the state of California has lots of rules on things like emissions, so we won't be interrupting any of the emission system so he can stay legal out there. Let's take you around. It's hard to get back far enough because I'm up against the wall, but maybe you can see it. So you can see how big the opening is once it's trimmed, and it's not a great angle. I apologize, it's up against the wall. Let me see if I can get it square. Yeah, kind of gives you an idea. So this particular Jeep has a little 2-inch kit on it, short arm kit, nothing, you know, just run of the mill 2-inch whatever. It has these 32 1150s on it. Without altering suspension or doing anything else with this armor, you'd bolt 35s on it and drive it. It would be kind of a cool little Jeep. That's not where we're going with this one, because, you know, that's boring, but you could do that. You know, this is a Rubicon, so you got 44s front and rear and lockers and all that good stuff. Bolt set of 35s on it and go have some fun. Make a nice daily driver, weekend warrior type build. Let me flip this around again. There it is. So that's the afternoon's project. Start fitting the front fenders. It's our run-of-the-mill Highline 4.5-inch flare. We do those in a 3-inch flare or a 4-inch, 4.5-inch flare. So we'll get them started going on the front here to finish the package. So what was I going to come back to? Oh, the reason we put the tube work up higher is so we get a nice visual right there. So by raising our tube work right up to the bolt pattern, the surface of the fender, that flare, everything, you know, I kind of like lines that match and things that match and all of that good stuff. It's part of that OCD in me and kind of why our Jeeps turn out slick. Well, since we're looking at this one, I'll give Aero Lids a plug. We have bar mood lighting in the shop today. Aero Lids sent us a cover for this light bar. It had a little whistle, so we're trying to tame that whistle down, which is the primary purpose behind the Aero Lids cover. And the guys down there made us I'll have to shut it off so you can see it, made us a cool little insert, I guess they call it. There it is. So it's got our logo, their logo, and our Master Your Terrain slogan in it. I don't know if you can see it or not. It's pretty dark when the lights are off. Yeah, you can kind of see it. So that will hopefully tame down the whistle. The other thing you probably see up there on the roof, you know, the name of this Jeep, the Safari LJ, it's not really safaried until we get the rooftop tent, and that's what we're working on now. Chris requested we get the tent mounted up for him before he comes and picks it up. So we're working on, you can probably make out there, it's got ratchet straps on it. That is not the final mounting solution. We just kind of tossed it up there this morning to kind of get a feel for where we wanted it, front to back and side to side and all of that good stuff. And so I can start measuring and figuring out the absolute low profile mounting brackets I want to build for that. So let's go back to this one. So Russell is our customer from California. We talked yesterday. So we started stripping the interior, A, to fit the armor, and then B, it's going over to the Line-X shop. We're going to spray the interior for them. This Jeep is a cream puff. It came out of SoCal. Let me get the door open. So it has zero rust, and we're gonna make sure that it never gets any rust by Line-Xing the whole floor pan, and the whole back assembly will get Line-Xed so that it's completely sealed. Another part of our Guardian armor, I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, there it comes. That's our internal slider brace. So it locks down under your seat. You take the seat out and this bolts in. That's actually where the seat base bolts to the tub. So we just you don't have to take the seat out. You can take them bolts, lift the seat up, slide it under, and then it slides back up under this. My finger, comments are in the way, so I can't see where I'm pointing. There it is. Slips up under this lip here and then sandwiches the tub through these three bolts right here in the center where you're going to take the most abuse, and it will transfer that load into this big brace that's in a TJ and LJ body. It really makes the sliders pretty bulletproof. So it's just a simple little add-on piece. They're on the website. Mary can help you if you can't find them. They do fit our Guardian slider and our standard slider. So Guardian slider, let's talk about them. I got one over here on the bench. So this is the inside of a Guardian slider. And you'll notice there's three of these little brackets welded on. Those are an adapter, if you will, to get to your body mount. Oh, we got this here, so let's do that. Right. So that's, and I'm going to have to set it on a goofy angle. You'll have to use your imagination. But that's kind of what that internal brace does. Obviously, it would be 90 degrees. It would stick out here, but my arms aren't long enough to hold that in the right position. So that goes inside the tub, ties to this flange there on the outside of the tub, sandwiches all that together so you get a pretty bulletproof slider system. So where were we? Oh yeah, these brackets, right? So those come into play. These sliders are designed to fit on a stock Jeep, meaning no body lift. So if you have a body lift, we also have a solution for that. So these mounts here, it's a whole pile of them, 6. So there's two. obviously them are upside down, so right side up, they go on your Jeep. There we go, kind of like so. So what you'll do, I'm gonna get over here to the Jeep. Sorry, we're wandering aimlessly today. Let's see if I can get down here. There's your factory body mount. So this distance from here to here, I don't remember what the exact measurement is, but for sake of argument, we'll say it's 7 inches, right? So that's a 7-inch spread. Well, when you put a body lift on, get my fingers to come around, there we go. That goes up, right? This is going to stay the same. The door sill is going to go up by the thickness of your body lift. Well, that won't work with our Guardian slider. You have to put those raised body mount, the hard mounts, on. You cut one off. The way we do it, there's 6 of them, right? So if you're sitting in the seat, you got feet, knees, and butt. Kind of more or less that's how it lays out. So those 3 body mounts that are at your feet, under your knees, and under your butt, that's the 3 that tie into our slider. Oh, excuse me, my nose itches. So those have to be raised. So as usual with all of our parts, we give you a solution to do that as well, and that's this kit. So the 3 different, so I think I got them laid out right, feet, knees, and butt. Those are your 3 mounts that you cut off and put these on, which has the body lift built into it. Typically with a body lift, you get, your standard run-of-the-mill puck, polyurethane, or aluminum that you would slip on top of your body mount to gain your body lift. Well, though we don't use them, we use these. We like to cut and weld stuff. So these have the body lift built into them. And you can see that here. Sits up on top of the frame instead of on the side of the frame. And then you would just use a standard, your standard issued body mount, right? So the lift is built into the mount. Well, then to take that theory one step farther, then we have, let me rearrange, get that out of the way. I need a Vanna. Mary, where are you? So then we have this piece, right? That is our rear crossmember slash bumper slash toe points, whatever you want to call it. It's kind of all in one. But that has the body lift built into it as well, so that when you're done installing it, you maintain that factory looking gap instead of doing that number again and having this big ugly gap in there. Gas tank mounts back in the same way it did here. Well, not on an LJ, unless you're stretching it like we did on Chris's, but on a TJ, the gas tank bolts right there on the bottom of that flange. An LJ has a dummy cross member 5 inches forward that takes up that, so they could use the same gas tank for a TJ or an LJ. On this particular one, the gas tank will mount back here. Tony from Genrite sent us the, I think he calls it a 31.5 gallon. Maybe it's 32, I'd have to look. But his Safari tank, so this Jeep will have 31 plus gallons of fuel in it to suit the customers wandering the Mojave and Death Valley and places like that in his neighborhood. Extra fuel capacity is an issue. And that's one of the reasons we did not do the TJ6 conversion on this, because with shoving the rear end back that far, you'll never fit that big gas tank in it. So, that's kind of the TJ, LJ, Guardian Armor discussion for today. Let us know, post up some questions. I'll try and get on this afternoon and answer any questions you have. We do have a similar lineup for the JK. Guardian sliders, they're actually a two-piece design. You get a rocker cover and then the hard slider piece that interlocks to the rocker cover and goes down and ties into the body mounts as well. We've showed you them before, but I'll get my Jeep out of the shop or out of the garage at home, and I've got them on mine, so we can talk about them if anybody has any interest. We have our Guardian bumper system for both the TJ, LJ, and the JK. We have done a prototype. If there's any JL owners out there, we have a prototype front Guardian bumper running around on a JL. So we need to finalize those designs. It's just hard to get a JL customer at this point that wants to let me chop 5.5 inches off the front of their frame. So if there's anybody out there in Facebook land that would like a Guardian bumper on their JL, get in contact with us. Bring us a Jeep, we'll cut it up, get our bumper on it, make sure all the things fit correctly for production, and basically we'll give you a bumper out of the deal. So if there's any JL or JT, the front bumper is interchangeable as far as we've found so far, and talking to some other folks in the industry, it looks like they're pretty much interchangeable. Rear bumper, that's a whole nother animal. JL to JT is never going to cross. So, but anybody that's wanting a Guardian bumper for a JL, excuse me, I got the hiccups. Give us a call. We'd like to get that product finalized. Our JL bumpers are out. I think Mary's got them on the website. If not, give her a call. She can help you there. So we have a whole line of this more robust. There's another word or phrase that's in the industry, hardcore. Don't care for it. So is what it is. We call ours Guardian, but it is that more robust armor for you guys that want to play into bigger rocks and need something a little more than our Adventure series, which our Adventure series is great armor. It works great in the weekend trail riding, overlanding, adventuring thing, but if rocks the size of Volkswagens or bigger is really your thing, then you really want to look at our Guardian line of armor. We go back as far, I see Cotty is watching. I saw his name go through a little while ago. We have a full line of Guardian armor for the YJ as well. That's as far as we go back. CJs have just too many quality control from the factory, not necessarily from the aftermarket, but so it's really hard to hit their tolerances.
Vanna's here.
Oh, Vanna's here. There she is.
Hey, how are you?
So better late than never, I guess.
It's only because my stomach was growling.
So yeah, on that note, the boss is hungry, so I guess we'll start closing this up. Still not traveling, obviously, none of you are. So we're looking, haven't heard anything to the contrary as far as 605 on the rocks. Things are still progressing and being planned, and we're moving forward. So if you haven't registered, I know I talked to Cotty the other day, he's still got a couple openings. Sign up. Be a first great out of quarantine adventure. So we've got some spaces up there. Get a hold of the folks up at 605 Jeep Club. Cotty and his crew, they'll be happy to sign you up and do all the stuff that needs to be done there. Between now and then, we're looking forward to, if this stuff lifts, Rock Junction, which is 3rd, 4th, and 5th, 4th, 5th, and 6th, something like that. That very first Thursday, Friday, Saturday of June down in Grand Junction. That's a great event. Big rocks and mild. They've pretty much got everything. So that's a great event. Lord willing, that will proceed on schedule. So we're kind of planning that will be our first outing after the great quarantine. Yeah, hopefully you picked up on that eye roll thing. So I guess we'll sign this off for this week. Stay safe out there. Do what you got to do. Get back to work. There's just get back to work. Keep your head down. Keep your powder dry. And we'll see you next week. So thanks for tuning in. Oh, next week's manufacturing with Mary. Put her on the spot so she figures out what she's doing. So Mary will be in front of the screen. You don't have to look at me next week unless she needs a Vanna. I guess I can be a Vanna. I don't know. But that's where we'll be next week, is over in the manufacturing plant. And we'll talk about whatever she dreams up for parts that we manufacture. So thanks for tuning in. Again, keep your head down, keep your powder dry, and we'll see you guys next week.